Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Get away from me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Get away from me. Hi, I'm Holly. This is Vincent. And we're here because we don't want you to have to go through what we've went through with the diagnosis of diabetes. Diabetes is a very serious disease if you don't take it serious. And we have went through a couple of surgeries of toe amputation, and now we're doing 6 weeks of antibiotics at home. And Vincent has consented to let you guys watch him get his IV and watch his wound care. And we want you to not have to go through the things that we have gone through. And now we are obsessive about this diabetes disease because we don't want it taking anything else from us in our lives. So, Vincent, how do you feel about this diabetes disease? And I'm going to start your IV while you're talking.
There's nothing to say how you feel. Everybody feel like they should, why me? But hereditary, that sort of thing plays into everything. There's not much that they tell you. You have it, blood sugars. It's not really explained to a lot of people to 100% to where you can understand it. You just work along with it and try to figure out things that you can along the way. There's a lot of books. A lot of people will tell you what to eat. They're going to tell you to clean out your colon and all this other things. But a lot of times I thought it was more hereditary than anything else. But then again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. There's days of weakness, days of sleepies. You're always fighting to keep going. But it's just like blood sugar gets thick, which makes it so it doesn't go through your arteries as fast. So you start slowing down. A lot of times you're just tired.
Your body. Now what I'm doing here is mixing the IV solution into the IV. And so we're just going to talk to you a little bit while I do that.
Why get a hookup? Which is a port they put in my arm. See? Literally straight. It runs 28 inches, or no, 48 inches down, around, and down to go into somewhere. It's a little nerve-wracking knowing that I'm in a vital artery right now.
And this is a very serious disease that, as we said, when they diagnose you, they just, oh, you got diabetes, and then they send you out into the world without any real instructions. So, and I've worked in the health care profession 30 years, and I've seen complications, but I never really knew how to treat the disease. Now, when Vincent first got diagnosed, he was saying, oh, I feel good, I feel good. And he didn't even want to take his blood sugars because he was like, oh, I just go by my feeling. But now we've learned that doesn't work. You need to be obsessive in taking your blood sugars. You don't have to be denied anything. But you have to be aware. You alcoholed already? Mm-hmm. So Vincent assists me with, you have to alcohol the port, and then we have to flush it. This is sodium chlorine.
No, sodium chloride?
Chloride. You're right, Vincent.
I just thought it was like Clorox. Literally flushing a brother down.
So then we'll hook this to this. And I'll let him flush it because it's his body, he can feel. If he couldn't, of course, I would do it. So I had to break the seal right here on this. And then I mixed some of the fluid in. And then I had to mix. It was like a big ball of like white clay in there. And I had to mix it. And now it's mixed. We alcohol every time we do anything to that port, because any germ will go directly into his system and there could be complications if things aren't done properly.
Oh no, complications.
So I open up the IV cord. Tubing is what it's called. And I don't want any air in there because we don't want any air to get into Vincent's system either.
Can you hold it back?
Because that would not be good. We would have to go straight to emergency because that could kill him.
You know that, what they call that, air embolism? Oxygen going through a valve or something?
So I opened up the tubing and I'm going to lock it down. Fat end is open, small end is closed. So we close it, and then I have to put this into the IV. When I take this cap off, I do not want to touch that because anything, any minute anything, I don't even want to breathe on it. So, I'm going to open it. Pop that open. Push that in. Put it on there. Now, I have it upside down because I don't want any of the fluid to get in there until I want it to go in. So, I puncture this little piece right here so that it can go on the IV pole. Gonna push this back here. I'm gonna put it on the IV pole. I'm gonna squeeze it. Squeeze it here so that I get a nice amount in here, because that is where I'm gonna count the drops and make sure that it's going into his body at the right pace, because we do not want it to rush into his body. It can burn his veins. So once it gets in there and it starts to go down, then I can open it up and I'm going to count the drops. In the little tubing that I had. So I open it a little bit so that it can flow through. There it goes. And it's flowing so that I get no bubbles. And I see a bubble, so I'm gonna let that flow on through before I lock it. And see, I don't mind him checking because this is his life. All right. So once I have it all connected, then I have to count the bubbles as they fall. So this should be 4 drops in 15 seconds. So I'm going to open it a bit. Two. That's going too fast. Slow it up. That's probably around it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that was 3 drops for 15 seconds. So I'm going to open it a little bit more. Just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's too fast. Close it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's about right. So, now that you have had these surgeries and you think that we have a better little handle on this, do you feel like it is a culpable disease? Because at first I was thinking it was the horrible, most worst disease in the world ever.
You can cope with anything, and it's just getting used to your limitations. But that's only in your mind until you just bust out of it and just say, okay, this is something I can beat because it's something that can be beat. It's just a matter of focusing on it.
And it is how you look at it, don't you think? Because, as I said, at first, we took it too lightly. And it is very important that you check your feet every day. It's very important that you take that fasting blood sugar, and then after you eat, maybe 2 hours. Now, I think at first, you know, they're saying just take your blood sugar 3 times a day. But at first, when you need to know what's going on with your body, because everybody is so different, that you need to take it more than 3 times. You need to take a fasting. You need to take it 2 hours after you eat breakfast, and then you eat lunch, and then you take it 2 hours after that, and then you eat dinner, and then you take it after that, just to see where your body is. So 4 times, I think, until you figure out how your body is running, I think that is the best way. And then before you eat anything, it's like you don't have to deny yourself everything. But if you take your blood sugar and it's 200, then maybe you shouldn't have that beer, or maybe you shouldn't have that starch or carbs. That was a hard thing too, knowing that carbs run your blood sugar up, because carbs go into your body and then transform into sugar, and then you're like, hey, I didn't eat anything sweet, but my blood sugar is very high. So therefore, you have to really, really know that carbs are not good for you. So it's like meat and vegetables, and no processed foods, which is really the way that we should be eating anyway. But those processed foods have contributed to a lot of diseases in the United States. So therefore, we want to get away from those processed foods. We want to be eating fresh vegetables as much as we possibly can, and then we can live a normal, healthy life even though you've been diagnosed with this diabetes. I am going to prepare to do Vincent's wound care, as he has so sweetly consented to letting us do this in front of the camera.
No, I didn't. She threatened me.
I will.
You heard it here first.
I will, or I really commend him for wanting to do this. I know he's joking saying that I threatened him, but I would not do anything that I wouldn't want done for myself, and I commend him because I'm not sure that I would want wound care done on TV, or but he's consented because he wants everyone to have a chance with this diabetes, and he is willing to put his life up front to help you guys so that you don't end up this far. But we are good, and we are thankful that Vincent still has a foot, even though, let me warn you guys, there are no toes on the foot and the wound care that I am about to change. And so I'm going to prepare the things for that, and I will let Vincent talk more to you about the way he feels about this disease attacking him and his body, and getting a grip and a grasp on it that will make him feel better in the long run.
How's it going to make me feel better?
Because you'll be able to live a long and healthy, happy
Oh,
life.
that's the better part. Excuse me, I got lost. Well, got this really cute shoe now. It throws your balance off, but it makes you rebalance because of the lack of the front. In my talks with my podiatrist, she suggested, she really didn't suggest, she just gave me some ins and outs. Alright, we keep going up here to these toes. The toes are the furthest away from your heart, the less circulation going by them. We can save a couple today, we can save a couple tomorrow. The bottom line was that the pressure that your foot restructures after losing some of its anchor causes it to make more problems for the rest. So she was telling me how that she had just loosened up the Achilles, and if we just went straight across with the toes coming off, I would have a better chance of not going back through this, because there are less appendages that are further away that'll cause me more trouble, or will be causing trouble along the way, to compensate for the lack of, or compensate for the weight that's going to be put on them. It made sense to me because they kept, as I would say, nickel and diming me. Some people have great reputations. But reputation isn't what saves a client. Sometimes the ability to talk to them, the ability to understand or try to put yourself in their position. I work on my feet. I've sat down almost a month now. I am going stir crazy from not being able to do what made my livelihood. My favorite movie was One Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I'm about there. But again, it's not like I've lost anything that I cannot replace by, how should we say, the little additives that I have to adjust my life to in order to continue living. I ain't gonna jump off a bridge. I ain't sue a damn Cyto yet. Yeah.
As he looked crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, can you take your boot off for me?
Ooh, on TV? I'm not gonna put a joke in there like I get the boot. No.
Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Get away from me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Diabetes, you can't beat me. Get away from me.